Then do spooky story. I don't want them to. I don't want you
Okay,
to talk about
okay.
it. For me, it's different because
So-
you're part of the Church of Lyles now. I have contract just written for you.
No, I'm good. I don't need any of that. I can handle myself most of the time.
You will get 1,000 Australian dollars just for your soul.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay. Mine's worth more than that.
What's your spooky story?
Okay. So, I used to live with my family, right? We lived in a fairly big house, but it was only big because we extended it twice. The original house was a fairly small house, and one night I'm in the first extension of the house where my bedroom is. I'm sleeping, and this isn't a story from my perspective, but this is one from my dad's perspective. So he's telling this like the next morning, but I'm asleep. My dad's asleep across the hallway in the master bedroom sort of thing, with my mum. He wakes up, and there's a figure bent over the bed, staring directly down at him. Right. It immediately goes upright, turns around, walks in the direction of my room, and it's a sort of T hallway. So there's a hallway, and then to the left is his room. To the right was my room. So out of his room towards my room, my brother was sleeping in the same room as me, and the figure turns right down the hallway. Right. He's following the figure, and he notices it has long hair, similar to my brother's hair. Same sort of build, but the clothes were different. He thinks that there might be an intruder, right? Someone broke in because it was a bad neighborhood. There were shootings and stuff like that a couple streets away, and sometimes people would break into places. So he follows the figure down the hallway, turns right, follows it down the hallway. Gets to the end of the computer room, which was kind of, that hallway was the computer room. There are wind chimes at the end of that hallway in the doorway, and the wind chimes go off. They make a sound as if there was wind blowing through that hallway, even though all the doors were closed at night, all the windows were closed at night, because my dad was paranoid about break-ins. This long-haired figure vanishes at the end of the hallway. Wind chimes playing, though. Then, my dad figures, maybe I'm seeing something. Like maybe I don't know, something weird happened. I'm gonna go check on my sons. So he goes back, walks into my room, checks on me, I'm fast asleep, checks on my brother, he's fast asleep. My dad wakes him up, checks on him. Nope, he was asleep. He wasn't anywhere near the hallway. Same long hair, same basic build, different clothes. Right? Later on, my dad went, and I think it was a bit later, or maybe it was at the same time. He went and checked on my sister, who was, if you went down the hallway where the wind chimes were, if you turned left and walked a little bit and then turned left again, the door to her bedroom was there. Right. He went into her bedroom and she was still awake. Or no, she had sort of just woken up. He went in and checked on her, and nothing had really happened. She couldn't really tell him anything. So he left, and then a while later, after he had gone back to bed, she was rustled awake, sort of. She felt weird. So she looked over at the doorway, and she saw a bit of a figure. And she got up, walked over, towards the door. The figure had already moved around the corner. She checked around the corner, nothing there. Checked around the other corner, nothing there. Checked the kitchen, nothing there. That was at 3 a.m. And my dad told several stories like that. From that day, a few months, every few weeks, something like that would happen. As an extension to that, I can tell you some spooky stuff about experiences he had. So he wasn't in contact with his family. His family lived over in Poland. His dad died one night, and none of his family had let him know. No one had notified him. The funeral was happening. He went to bed that night, woke up in the middle of the night, and called home to find out if what he had dreamed was correct. And I'll tell you the dream in a moment. They told him, yeah, the funeral is happening right now. Why? So going back to the dream, he had laid down for bed that night, and what happened to him was he saw kind of a lawn, he saw a mailbox, he saw a house. His dad came to him, holding his stomach, clearly bleeding. His teeth, some of them were missing. He spoke to his dad, and his dad explained. I've died of, I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was some illness, and then an injury, and he died. They had a long conversation, and they kind of had a closure moment. They said goodbye to each other. And there's no way he could have known that his dad had died. No way. Zero. He had died about, I think it was a week earlier. They were having the funeral that night. A crow appeared in the dream and landed on his dad's shoulder. And then his dad said goodbye. And when he woke up, like I told you earlier, he called back home, back Poland, and spoke to his family, and they were having a funeral for him. A few days later, he had a similar dream. His dad came to him and said, there's this guy, a guy that didn't like his dad, Yoshko, and he's been coming over to his dad's grave and pissing on it. My dad called his half-brother over in Poland, and he said, can you go check Dad's grave? I think that asshole Yoshko has been pissing on his grave. His half-brother went and checked the grave. There was yellow all over his fucking grave. There were cigarette butts put out on the gravestone. That's some shit, bro.
Yeah, it's a high connection to the dead and living.
Yeah, my dad was very intuitive. He had a lot of skills like that.
Like I kind of do too. How about you, Lucario? It's a very good story. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing.
That was something.
Do you like
I got nothing.
Do you like these stories? Are you engaged with these stories, Michael? You want more?
Oh, one more thing. The ghost that had a recurrence. We found out later that there was a record of people that had died in the house and were, because it was the sort of customary thing that you did back then, they got buried underneath the house. Well, one guy. Oh no, wait. No, that wasn't the story. No. In the construction of the house, there was a dude that was buried in the foundation of the house on accident because he died during construction. Yeah, that was the thing.
So,
Heck no.
so his body would never
Yep.
to rest then.
Hell no.
Yep. He could only kind of traverse a certain portion of the house because that's what was built at the time.
Well, there is actual Eliel's curse. It's actually true, and that farmhouse is still up in South Carolina. My father's side can date back before the Revolutionary War. We were from the Mayflower, then to the UK, Scotland, all over Europe, but our main heritage is the Vikings up in Norway. We were actually, our blood, by blood, traced all the way back to Eric the Red, first Viking king. I kid you not. So, our family's been in America before it was founded. Fought a lot of wars, killed each other during the Civil War, and there is a family, a farm, not too far from where I actually live right now. It's about an hour drive away. It's a farmland owned by, previously owned by Spaniards. This is during the Mexican War, right? We didn't buy it till after when we figured, but I'm telling you what the house was before. It was a couple of Spaniards that moved to America for a better life. It was during the Mexican War, and basically, you know, these soldiers thought the Spaniards have gold, riches in their houses. So basically, they went in and bounded up, interrogated them, and even though they say they don't have gold, the soldiers didn't believe them. So they, you know, mutilate the body in that farmhouse. So my family bought that house. That would be a good, you know, retirement farming. Hand it down to family. The person that owns it right now is my Aunt Linda. She's a freaking nutcase and an ex-Hell's Angel. So that farmhouse is still up to this day, and this is reiterating from my father's what he told me. I never went into that house. My father did, because he went to South Carolina when he was a kid, visiting his cousins, his aunt, uncle, his mom. My mom and my grandmother and my grandfather are separated. You know, and they took my dad to California and you know, live a life there. So basically, you know, my dad visits there, and this long, you know, there's like a rickety shade farm, like one of those old farmhouses that never been renovated for like hundreds of years. They have a shutter outside and so forth as well. So this long hallway are portraits of family that wasn't ours. It was a family of the Spaniards that lived there long time ago, that was still hung up there. So when you actually walk through the hallway, you see these eyes following them. Wherever you go, it feels like the eyes are following you. And there are times that when he goes to like the kitchen, there's a door in the kitchen, there's a door, it opens by itself and closes by itself for you. There's time my dad was making breakfast and stuff moves around out of nowhere he couldn't explain. And then like at night when he was sleeping in the room with his cousin, you hear several shotgun shells from my great aunt's room, because she sleeps with a shotgun. She's also a nutcase, and then the next day my dad goes into her room. There's no beads holes anywhere up on the ceilings at all, or the walls at all. How is that possible? And my Aunt Linda, always drunk and shooting shit, she'll leave some kind of freaking holes, right? So then that one time my dad heard something up in the attic. Back then the attics were really big, usually like converted to like an actual room. My dad went in the attic, heard something, and there was this rope swing in the middle of the attic, swinging by itself with no breeze or anything. When he looked closely, he saw a figure of a girl swinging back and forth. Then she jumped off the swing and walked through my dad, and the whole room got really cold for several minutes. Then my dad freaked the fuck out and got out of that farm and slept in the motel. And that farm is still under the Lyle's name, and it's still up to this fucking day. I saw it. It looks like a freaking haunted house. Literally, like, you know, like the ghost town from the Wild West? It's like fucking that.
We should employ ghosts as farmers.
Like, what are they gonna grow? How are they gonna sell it?
They can just grow it. We'll sell it. Put those immigrants up to good use. Fucking taking up space in our dimension.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's actually there's a record on it too in South Carolina, and I don't know. I think my cousin's gonna get the house if they die, but I know they don't want that house. So the house is still there. No one lives in it at all. They tried renting it, renovating it, and stuff. And no, they just left. They just leave within like a few days to a week because all the shit that's happening in that house.
Got to put the spirits to rest before you could do anything with it.
And the problem is, you know how many people have died during the Mexican War, especially in that land?
A lot.
Yeah,
A lot.
It's very hard to put that many restless souls to sleep. Like the Gettysburg. Did you guys ever went to the Gettysburg in Pennsylvania? Lucario? Michael?
I've never been to Gettysburg.
Yeah. Okay. At night, I was there doing my volunteer in the military, cleaning up Gettysburg. We do it twice a year. At night falls, they don't want anyone at the park at all because they said there was ghost activities. We thought, you know, when we were at like a hotel, like, you know, like a couple blocks away, we like dared each other to go there and see if it's true. So we did because we're fucking stupid airmen. So we did. We were there at Gettysburg in the middle of the fucking 2 in the morning, hearing like cannon shots, gunfires, and noise out of fucking nowhere. You see like some shades of human figure, but you can't really tell what it is. You know, it's like, you know, it feels like someone's trying to get you and kill you and stuff like that. That is one of the creepiest shit. Gettysburg is very haunted. If you ever want to go to like a haunted destination, get like a hotel. Like, you know, there's actually a hotel that's like a bed and breakfast inside of Gettysburg, and you can actually hear like footsteps of maids and gunshots and soldiers like crying and wailing from the gun wounds because they converted those house were temporarily to, like, you know, to hopefully, you know, nurse them. And back then there were no really anesthesia, and they amputate a lot of the. If you get shot, you do get amputated and stuff like that. So you got more stories?
I got stories, but like, meh. I'm probably gonna head off soon because I gotta go to the gym before it closes.
You go do that, Fortis. Show me those guns.
Yeah, I will. I usually feel pretty comfortable in places that have had things like that happen. I'm weird that way is when there's a sense of danger around and no cause. Even if there is a cause, I feel comfortable in that situation. It's just because I was raised in a stressful environment.
Don't worry, all your stress will melt away when I'm done with you. When I sign that contract now?
Like butter. No, I'm good. I'm okay.
Alright, man.
I would if I didn't have a self-worth that was accurate.
That might be something. I do take a piece of something.
I'm pretty okay. Pretty okay the way I am. Don't really need anything. We can trade physical goods, but soul, I think I'll keep what I've got.
I think Reeve can help you with that.
I impart pieces freely to important people, but I'm not gonna give you the whole thing.
Like
yeah, no, just I sometimes impart a piece of my soul. Just to give a bit of a boost to people, but they gotta be important, and they gotta need it. But I don't give the whole thing away, because then what the fuck am I gonna do?
It's like marriage. You give the whole thing away.
Yeah.
You think you're buying a free cow.
Yeah.
You gotta figure. You also gotta find out that you gotta also take care of that free cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Ashley. Gotta take care of her.
Aww. She's not a cow.
What stories you want to hear? Ghost, demonic. I exercised actually a demonic person once. That was some scary ass shit.
But
huh?
If I tell it, they might come back.
Like what? I will put the power of protection.
No,
on
every
you.
time I try talking about it, it like I can feel it.
So far, I'm actually pretty good with protections in the house and everything. I know how to bless it, banish it, and stuff. Ashley's been seeing some kind of having in her dream is a shadowy figure, but it was a floating big book, but it's inside of it is a shadowy figure that's been following her throughout her whole life. So it can't come in the house, but it can go in the dreams. But I've been protecting her from that for a few days now.